Hey everybody, we're getting ready to talk about outlines. So hopefully you watched the short video for the UNC Writing Center on outlines and got a little bit of information about that. But I wanted to show you a student sample in Word. So this of course looks great already with the formatting. You can see that there are 1-inch margins all the way around, and we do have Times New Roman 12-point font. And this, of course, is the good MLA heading that's required. So your name, my name, and then we would change your section here. So you would be either section I01, I02, or whatever your section number. And then this one was written in 2018, but you would change this to the due date. Always remember to put the due date of the assignment in the date, not the date that you wrote it. Okay, so right here we have a title, and it just is fracking outline. So this student is clearly going to write about fracking. You can feel free to come up with a more creative title if you want to. But this is going to be our first formal paper for English 111, and that's why we're doing an outline. We really want to have all of our pre-writing done, our ideas together, our sources, and know what we're going to write about before we sit down and look at that blank Word document screen, because that's kind of scary when we're writing a paper. So consider outlining a great way to help you get over those blank screen scaries. Okay, so for the first part, this student has done an alphanumeric outline, and if you go to Purdue OWL, I linked to it in the weekly module, and if you look at Purdue OWL, it tells you that there are different types of outlines, and we will always use alphanumeric. So that means that we have the Roman numerals here, and then we have the alphabet here, so we have A, B, and C. So the first section is going to be the thesis statement, and because we're writing an argument, we are, and again this is our first formal paper, we want to be forceful in our language, and we want to make a very clear argument that our audience understands. We don't want to use casual language. We don't want to talk to the reader. In other words, we don't say things like, you will, or I want to tell you about, this paper is going to be about. We avoid those statements, and we just come right out and say what it is we're arguing. So this student says fracking is a dangerous and risky process because of its negative effects on the environment and human health. So this student could have made this a little stronger by saying that the U.S. should not frack because, or if your topic is something along the lines of JCC should increase the number of parking lots because, and then you list a few reasons. But what she has here is fine. So fracking is a dangerous and risky process. So we know that she's against fracking. And then she gives us some reasons why, because of its negative effects on the environment and human health. So that's what she's going to talk about. In your high school classes, you probably were taught or are being taught about the 5-paragraph essay. And while that's all fine and good, sometimes in English 111 and college writing, 5 paragraphs just doesn't cut it. We need either more body paragraphs or fewer body paragraphs. The 5-paragraph essay is typically your introduction, which is where you include your thesis statement. We usually have 3 reasons, and those are your 3 body paragraphs, and then we have a conclusion. With argument, we actually have more components than that. So in your outline, you'll give me your thesis statement, and then the next thing down the section 2 is refutation. Refutation, hopefully you read about this in the Norton Field Guide and in the Little Seagull, but that's acknowledging that there's another side to your argument. So her refutation says supporters of fracking believe fracking creates low fuel cost because of the abundancy of natural gas that is provided through the process of fracking. Supporters believe that fracking provides clean and efficient energy sources. So she's acknowledging that there's another side to the argument. And the reason that we do that is sort of like an offense-defense kind of thing. We are anticipating that someone is going to come attack our argument, and that's fine. But we acknowledge that. We get it. We know you can come attack me, and I list my refutation here. Then she goes on to explain the process of fracking. So that's her third paragraph, is going to be what really is fracking. So we need to know that because there might be an audience member, a reader, who has no idea what fracking is. So she needs to explain that. So if you're talking about a complicated concept, be sure that you explain some terms. So she goes into the process. Then here are her reasons. Risks to the environment caused by fracking, which she listed in her thesis statement, and then she's got her details here. Risks of human health, and it should be actually risks to human health caused by fracking, and then she lists these here. Then she has given us a conclusion paragraph, a full conclusion paragraph. I strongly encourage you to write this, but I will not take points off if you don't have that. But you should have something in the conclusion part of your outline, even if it's not a full paragraph. It can't just say conclusion. And again, up here, it can't just say introduction. We need to see a thesis statement and then some sort of conclusion. She's also included her 3 works cited, her 3 sources. So I will require you to do this. So before your outline, you need to first of all consider your topic and then find some sources ASAP, good, reliable academic sources. So she has listed these here, and these should be, I'll show you what they should look like. These are single spaced. They should be double spaced. So we will come up here to home, paragraph, and we'll come down to double space. So always make sure that we double space here. And you can see that she has her hanging indents, and I can show you as well how to do that. So we would come up here to paragraph, and then right here under special, it'll probably say none, but you want to choose hanging and then hit OK. And that's how we get hanging indents, which are required on all of our sources and citations. So that's really what an outline should cover. So we should have an introduction section, a refutation section, and then if you need to explain some terms, that's a good place. Otherwise, paragraphs 3, 4, 5 would be your reasons, and you might have 4 reasons and not just 3, or you might have 2 reasons if they're really good ones. Then, of course, we have our conclusion followed by our works cited. And that's how you do an outline.